Hello everyone, welcome to Talk with Bajaj podcast series. Now today with us we have a special guest, Anita ma'am from UAE, Sharjah, and she is a primary grade teacher. Also, she's a mental health counselor. She also given her talks on national and international platforms. And today we are going to discuss on a wonderful topic that is self-care for teachers. It's an amazing topic because teachers nowadays I feel is very important. Self-care for everyone, but teachers are not taking care of themselves. So for that, Anita ma'am is with us. And Anita ma'am, today I thank you so much for being here with us first, accepting our request. So can you tell everyone about yourself?
Sure. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much, Shweta, for giving me an opportunity to speak on a wonderful topic that is self-care for teachers. It is very, very important for a teacher to take care of herself or himself. And this is one topic which is very, very close to my heart because I have worked as a teacher for a period of about 14 years, and I know the kind of demands that have been there from each teacher and I would just definitely begin by speaking about some of the problems faced by teachers and then, strategies as to how you can help yourself. For example, some of the self-care strategies. And I have been living here for the past 25 years. And I worked as a primary grade teacher in a school called Anon English High School. And then I moved to a school called Primus Private School, where I was teaching the primary grade, that is grade 1 to 5. I began as a kindergarten teacher for a period of 3 years, got trained, and then moved to some of the primary grade. It was a very good experience. I had many good lessons to learn from each year and the period where I worked in the school. And regarding, I think you can definitely give me a good introduction about my own self. And I'm a bachelor's. I have a bachelor's in sociology from Stella Maris College, Madras University, which is affiliated to the Madras University, a master's in social work from the same college, which is again affiliated to the Madras University. And then I took my MPhil in psychiatric social work, went into NIMHANS to do my MPhil. And after coming here, I had to do my B.Ed. That is, I since I was into teaching. And in fact, my two daughters studied in the same school. And that's about me. And I'm still in the process of learning. I really enjoy learning. And thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak on a wonderful topic, and which is very, very close to my heart. And without any further ado, can I go on to the topic?
Yes, please, Anita ma'am. I really
Sure.
appreciate
Yes.
that you have done, you have gone through the procedure. That's how you are able to share from your heart. So yes, Anita ma'am, over to you. You can share according to you.
Yes. Some of the problems that teaching profession is a very beautiful profession by itself, but there are some problems that teachers face. For example, burnout. Burnout is something which, for example, due to the salaries that are paid, okay, they don't have motivation to work because there is a lot of demand that they have to handle various groups of students. Again, disciplining students becomes a very big challenging thing for teachers. Managing the time when there is a change in curriculum, that is also a very demanding process on the teacher, when you have to change your strategies in the classroom to teach students, various categories of students. We all know that you have children with lower ability, you have children with middle ability, and those children with higher ability. And especially the primary grade children are very active. We have to keep monitoring them every time once we move into the classroom. Even as a class teacher, we have more number of responsibilities to handle. And time management becomes a very, very important aspect. A teacher's work not only gets over when she's in school, she has to go home and plan out lessons. She has to meet the academic needs of various students in the classroom. And not only that, she has to take care of her family. Sometimes a man gets a break when he goes home. and he does take responsibility for the children. But when the lady or the teacher goes home, her work is still not over. She has to complete certain things. She has to meet the academic needs of her own children. She has to probably prepare dinner at the end of the day, and feed the children. And especially if the children are very, very small in the foundation stage, she has to sit down and monitor their academic work also. So that becomes there's an important aspect of time management which comes there. Again, there are limitations in terms of standardized testing of students. Okay, sometimes there are various categories of students who come to the classroom, and you just need to be aware if it's a class of 40, and you need to be aware of the different kinds of tests which can be performed on students in order to know each of their ability. And usually the class strength is more than 40 in some of the schools. So it becomes a very, very challenging thing for the teacher. Again, managing the time, planning out lessons, and there are changes which the supervisor might give in the last minute, and the teacher is forced to sit down and work through it at home, when she has to take care of her children, when she has to take care of the house, and she has to make some changes in the lesson plan to suit the needs of the students in the classroom. And when there's a demand from the management, again, extended working hours, as I had mentioned, she does not her work does not end in the school. She has to take back all the work. For example, sometimes corrections. When a teacher, completes all the corrections, she has to give the books back. Otherwise, there will be a complaint from the parents saying that the teacher has not given the books, corrected books, and she should not overlook some of the mistakes which the child has made. In fact, she has to go through everything, and she has to put in proper positive remarks. Even notebook remarks, she has to be very, very careful enough to write down remarks in a positive way, giving a positive feedback, and where the child has a scope for improvement. And in fact, her work does not get over. She has to make changes in some of the lesson plan. Again, she has to plan out a lesson where all students are engaged in the lesson constructively, and she has to monitor each student. She should know the learning styles of each student to some extent. Some of them are auditory learners, they learn better. Some of them are visual learners. But of course, there is a change in the concept of learning styles now. We believe that all students have all kinds of abilities to learn. They are also visual learners. They are also learning through auditory means. They also learn through activities, through their biological means, and using their language. They also learn. Some students learn through that. So you should know the abilities of each student, and make a note of that. And you are expected to do that from the management. A teacher is supposed to know her classroom very well. Lack of funding, sometimes there are not enough funds for the school to provide for certain resources. So sometimes the teacher is forced to spend from her own pocket for some of the resources, where she feels that she is in a better position to understand where some resources might work. Okay, she probably gives a requisition slip to the administrative department, and then by the time she gets those resources, sometimes it's very late, and she has to go on with the lesson. She has to give adequate revision work and practice for the students, for them to perform well in assessment again. And parental involvement, that's very important. Handling parents is very, very important. One mail from the parent, and even in the night time, she's forced to answer that. A little delay in that, and there will be a complaint saying that the teacher has not answered the mail, she's not responded back. So there are demands from the parents also, and parental expectations are there. They expect that a teacher should take care of everything, including even food also. We do that sometimes in a classroom. We do that. In fact, when a child has not eaten, we monitor the child's food also there. We make sure that the child has eaten by the end of the day. Otherwise, if the child takes the food home, they will say the teacher has not monitored, Again, the safety of students is very, very important. Children running around in the classroom and hurting each other, or pushing each other, or bullying each other, or passing some remarks in the classroom. We have to make a note of all that. So these are this one. Again, balancing diverse needs becomes very, very important in a classroom. Balancing the emotions of parents, consoling them and counseling them also becomes very important for a teacher. Again, managing students behaviors, another important challenge for a teacher. Again, differentiating instruction. As I had mentioned earlier, you have students with different abilities. You have students who are achievers, low achievers, those who are slow learners in the class. You have middle achievers, and then you have high achievers. Some of them are gifted. We have to make a note of that also. A teacher should be aware of that to give all kind of challenging tasks in a lesson plan. So that has to come into a lesson plan. Again, you have children with special needs. Those parents have to be handled very, very carefully. You have to inform the counselor, or you have to get the support of a shadow teacher to come into the classroom and then take those lessons and help these children with special needs. And some of the kind of accommodations that can be made by a teacher in a classroom, making the child sit separately. For example, a child who has difficulties in attention or learning difficulties, separate attention should be given to a child like that. Or maybe get a counselor, or a shadow teacher to help the child out. Again, the teacher has to manage with limited resources till the management decides to provide all those resources. Learning should learning should happen in the class. It should be very, very supportive. A child should feel very, very safe. Again, documenting all that becomes a very important thing. A teacher should document all the kind of assessment that has been given. You have an entry level test, you have those marks which has to be entered. So those important documents have to be entered, and whatever needs to be communicated, maintain a register. Attendance policies are very important. You have to convey it to the parents in the during the beginning of the year. Classroom discipline is very, very important for the learning to happen effectively. Again, you have pressure from the school administration. You have to sometimes uh, stay back after school hours in order to attend meetings, which I have actually personally done at least 2 days in a week. And then at that time, your family also gets neglected. You have to make some arrangement, alternative arrangement. You should have a good understanding if you have a family with your husband in order to, make those kind of adjustment. Again, you have some demands from the management, some lesson plans. You have to train other teachers. So those kind of responsibilities will be there. You have to be aware of the latest developments in technology in order to use that in the classroom for effective learning. Again, and imparting good education, good values to the children also becomes important. Sometimes you need a lot of time for practice, for your own practice. You have to upgrade your skills in order to teach the children. And children, when a teacher does not have enough knowledge or has not worked on her improvement in some of her skills, I think it becomes a very important thing, because children will challenge you. It becomes you get embarrassed in the process. You should have answers to all the questions. So you should be aware as a teacher. You should have learned all those things. Be aware of all kinds of different ways by which you can handle and teach concepts so that children learn better. And these days, I find that this generation, they are very, very smart. They know everything related to technology. They would give you different ideas when you give them a lesson plan, and when you give them a challenging question, they would come out with beautiful ideas. You have to stimulate their kind of thinking. Again, the last point that I wish to speak about is balancing work and your personal life becomes important. Sometimes your work does not get over in the school. You have to take home some of the correction work, or maybe the lesson plans to make some corrections in them. If the supervisor wants you to make some corrections or plan out certain activities for the next day, for an inspection, for example, if there is an inspection, so you have to meet those demands also. In that case, you have to make some adjustment. You have to get a maid probably to clean the house, and reduce your time and concentrate on your children. You should also have adequate sleep. So let me move on to some of the self-care ideas which will be helpful. I mean, to take care of oneself is not to be very, very selfish. We're not doing that. But we have to realize that at the proper time, before it is too late and before we have developed health issues. And it is important for us to have some healthy practices in order to, maintain a good emotional well-being. And we should cultivate certain personal habits. In spite of having a very, very busy schedule, we should make some time for our own self. I know it becomes very difficult when a teacher has to go back home. She has to take care of her children. Her work does not end there. She has to, probably prepare dinner. She has to make plans for the next day. There's a lot of work. But in spite of that, if we can make at least 1.5 hours time for our own self, maybe stretching exercise, or maybe getting into a regular routine, and this which will be very good, and eating healthy food and getting enough sleep. That is more important for a teacher. Again, skill development is very, very important. Investing time in learning new skills such as for example, public speaking or any other thing related to computers, or improving your skills related to computers, that will be very important. Again, relationship with family, spending quality time and communicating effectively with your family members can strengthen familial bonds. Sometimes there is a tendency for us to feel very, very tired after the day's work, and then be in a very good frame of mind or good mood to speak to children. We do get irritable at times. I have experienced that, but try not to lose your temper with children. There's no point losing your temper with children. And, we have to be very, very patient with children. And, in fact, they look forward to us. We are the role models. We have to be good role models. We have to have a good balance of our own life. And that is why it is important for us to take care of our own self. Again, friendships is very important. Nurturing certain friendships by being very supportive and being present can lead to more fulfilling social interactions. And job performance is also very important. You have certain um, demands from the job. You're expected to do certain things, and consistently you're supposed to work very, very hard, upgrade your skills in order to be there in the job and to meet the demands of the job. Again, if you can involve yourself at least during the weekend in community involvement, for example, participating in some local community service projects, which can create a positive impact on the neighborhood. You can help others. Again, financial management is very, very important. And some teachers are forced to be there in the job for different reasons. For example, if they have been working for many years and they have been supporting their family and meeting the needs of the family, then it becomes very important for them to, continue to be there in the job. And, if they cannot afford to leave their job, they are forced to be there in the job and take all that pressure at work. Again, time management becomes very, very important. Managing our finances also becomes very, very important. Education, for example, further education or certifications. If you have to do some courses and upgrade your skills, being on the job, that's very important. And again, you can also work on environmental impact. You can make an impact on the environment, making some eco-friendly choices like recycling and reducing certain waste, which can contribute to a healthier planet and a cleaner green planet. It is important for us to take care of our mental health, and engaging in activities like meditation or therapy can improve our emotional well-being. That is why it is important for us to take care, at least devote 1 hour of our time in those 24 hours to take care of ourselves. We are just not being selfish, but then it is important for us to take care of ourselves in order to help our family finally. And networking is important. Building certain professional relationships through networking events can lead to new opportunities. Networking with people, volunteer, being volunteers, for example, volunteering for causes you care about, and which will provide us a sense of purpose, and which will contribute, which will be of some use to the community. Personal development, again, reading books and attending seminars on personal growth can enhance certain self-awareness and our confidence. Health management. Again, going for regular medical checkups is very important. As you grow old, you can develop some health issues. Taking care of that is very important. Visit a doctor if there is a need, if you are facing some health issues, and see what best we can do. And by focusing on these areas, I think it is important for a teacher to take care of her mental health. That is most important, and she needs to have a balance. Again, some of the other ideas that I could think of is just give me a minute, please.
Yes, Anita ma'am, you can continue.
Yeah, yeah. Write down some of the 10 things that we are all grateful for. You can think of the good things that are happening to you in your life, and you can have a good bath. Try a face mask. You can go for a facial to the beauty parlor if you can afford it. You can do that, or you can try out something at home. Breathe deeply and light your favorite candle. You can just have a look at the candle. You can just spend time relaxing, maybe 5 or 10 minutes with your busy schedule. Watch a motivational talk that will also be very helpful. Listen to a motivational podcast. Exercising, very, very important. Take a walk in nature. If you can do something like that, that's wonderful. Write 5 things you love the most. You can make a vision board for yourself and declutter a messy space. If you want to clear your cupboard with a busy schedule, or probably during the weekend, just take your time out, or you can go out with your family. Just have your own quiet time. You're not doing anything, but then you're trying to regain all the energy. Probably you can reflect on certain things and make some corrections in your life. Again, reading is also a good habit. Reading a professional growth book. You can go for a long walk, listen to some of your favorite music, cook your favorite meal, bake your favorite dessert. You can take the help of your children. You can monitor them also, so that everything is very, very safe. Watch your favorite show, if you can watch a favorite movie. And I always prefer to watch something very, very funny, something that makes me laugh. It's very rare. Sometimes I feel that teachers have lost that genuine kind of laugh, because of the work pressure. And you can just work on that. A smile gives you a very good feeling. When you smile at others, makes them feel very good. And give yourself a manicure or a pedicure if you can afford it, or do it at home. Call or text someone you love. Speak to your relatives. Do some kind of exercising like yoga, maybe a stretch. Do a spa if you can do a spa. Go out in the sunshine. Take a walk in the nature. Take some pretty photographs of yourself. Drink. Be well hydrated. That is very, very important. I do follow this. When I start my day, I drink a glass of water. In fact, through the day, I drink at least 3 liters of water. Please monitor your intake of water. That is very, very important. Read some inspiring stories. You can take a nap, do something nice for someone, help others, notice and change your negative thoughts. Keep a track of that, and try to change it to something positive. Connect with an old friend. This is something which I've really done. After joining these webinars, I could connect with many of my old friends, my college friends. Take social media breaks. You can play a game with your children, sit down in the grass and watch the clouds float by. Go for a drive. If you know how to drive, you can drive, or you can just take the help of your family members for a drive. Watch the sunrise, watch the sunset. It's very, very healing. Have a picnic. Plan out for a picnic with your busy schedule. Ask for an old family recipe and make it. And sit down and pray and thank God for the good things that you have. And sit down and spend a lot of lovable moments with your children. Just talk to them. They will tell you wonderful things. And if you have an animal or a pet, a wonderful thing which will really heal your mind. Write down a journal. If you want to do some kind of artwork, you may do that. Journaling is one good thing which I could think of. Sing out loud. If you want to sing something and try out with some music, you can sing. Try out a new hobby, learn a new language, and have a lot of good time with your family. And with that, I end my presentation, Shweta. Thank you so much once again for giving me a lovely opportunity. I really, cherish those moments.
Tips which you have shared for teachers is very important actually. So some of the questions which I want to ask, like Our first question is, as you mentioned, teachers do hourly work, right? Means, for example, if they have their work schedule from morning 9 or morning, even if I can say 6, 6 to 7, 7 from morning 7 to afternoon 2 or 3. They have to work till 4 sometimes. They have to work till 2, 3 hours extended work. So it according to their salary, according to the financial they are getting, is it, is it a good, or it is the change we need to look in the coming education system? What do you think, according to you? You can. All right. Yeah. Yes, you can unmute it. Yeah. No need
Okay.
to mute yet.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is that, see, as teachers, see, a teacher has started working um, just for her own passion. And then, for example, she loves teaching and then she goes into teaching. It is something like teachers are, in spite of speaking to the management, things have not changed much. She's forced to be there in the job for a very, very small salary because she's been supporting her husband. And extra money, little money, is it means a lot for the family. Say, for example, the husband has not had any kind of support and from any of his family members, and he's forced to earn, and the teacher is also forced to be there in the particular job. She's not in a position to leave. She doesn't know whether to she leave the job, take care of her children at home, and then continue to work. And when she comes home, very often what happens is that she has to sit down with the lesson plans. She has to make a lot of changes. She has to plan out lessons for various groups of students the next day. So there's a lot of planning work. Again, she has to take care of the academic needs of her children. And she's also a human being, and we have to take that into consideration. And in fact, she is continuing with the job just to support her family, nothing else. She wants to leave, but she is not in a position to leave.
Yeah, I understand, but my
Have I
question
answered your
here is,
question?
yeah, my question
Hmm.
here is, like, according to, if we can say other jobs, okay, like engineering,
Hmm.
doctor,
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
see other jobs, because it is a paid work. I know, like, a teacher join as a passion, because I also worked as a teacher for a few time, few years.
Yes. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
we teachers join because we have passion to make a change, in a society. We have passion to add knowledge to the students, to nurture kids in a better way. We all have
Correct.
kids as well in our home.
Hmm.
Now, my question here is, like, is it right? Malab,
Hmm.
see, because the salary is like this much, okay? Any salary, like some the people, some get 10K, or some people, according to the country, according to city, is different. But they are working hard. They are working, as you mentioned, they need to plan after
Yes.
their work. They need to do
Right.
per hourly work. So, what do
Yes.
you think? Like, this change is required if you have given a power to bring a change in education
Hmm.
system as a teacher.
Yes.
What you will
Definitely.
be realizing here?
Yeah, definitely. I think the first thing is that I will take care of the mental health of teachers. That is more important. They need to have a proper balance of this one. They should relax, go home and relax, and you come back fresh the next day, which never happens. Okay. So they are forced to be there in the job. And I think, a lot of planning is required. And if the management can do something about the increase of the salary of the teachers. In fact, even at home, when they go back home, the work does not get over. They will continue to do their work. They will just probably feed the children. They will take care of the academic work of the children, or probably shift all the academic needs of their own children to the weekend when they have little more time. They have to monitor the children in the house, and especially if the children are very small, it is even more demanding. A lady needs to sleep, and I don't think it's possible for a teacher to even sleep properly. Sometimes sitting with lesson plans, it's not only that, making worksheets, making worksheets. And
Hmm.
the next day when you submit those worksheets for all the concept, again, there'll be a lot of changes. And, you have to meet the needs of the supervisor. And that becomes a very, very challenging thing. And I think definitely there should be something. If I was in the administration side, I would definitely do something for the teachers. I would
Like,
definitely
according to you,
uh,
what
yes.
changes you can bring so that teachers' assignments not bring the like they do not have to bring that assignments to the home, or they do not have to
This is
take
something which,
everything.
yeah,
Mhm.
regarding the time management, a teacher needs to learn how to manage time. She should be given free hours, which never happens. Like, in fact, even in a class, to be very frank, when I taught the primary grade, we were not allowed to sit down. We were not allowed to sit down. We had to stand because students were all very active, and we had small children. We had to monitor them, and they should not hurt themselves. They should not be running around. We maintain discipline in the class. At the same time, the lesson should go on effectively. So supervisors happy only with the when the children, when they see a progression in the lesson, and when the children have learned the lesson well and they find it very, very interesting. You need to have a challenging questions in a lesson plan. That is, again, time management is the most important thing. But in spite of that, Shweta, I think teachers should definitely go back home, and they should make time for them themselves, taking care of themselves 1 hour at least, or of exercising. And that makes a lot of difference. Having a good diet, exercising in that 1 hour. In that 1 hour, just leave the family. We're not ignoring the family, we're just monitoring the family, but at least make 1 hour time for your own self. That is most important, to get back fresh the next day. I find that I've worked with teachers. 2 days back, I was called for substitution, and I found that teachers were very depressed there. I spoke to them here, and then I found that they were very, very depressed. They've not had proper sleep. They've had to take care of their children. And I asked them, "How is the work?" They say, "Pressure is even more." And we just need to have some ways by which we can make 1 hour time for our own self in a day. I think if we can make that, and probably if I go back into teaching, I'll have a maid to clean the house and do certain things for me, and I will devote one time for my own self care. I will do that. If I go back into teaching, things would be different.
Yeah.
It was not like that earlier when I worked. 6 years back, when I worked, I was sitting with my children for their academic work, and there was a lot of pressure from, the school management to complete lessons, and have a lot of worksheets. Yes.
From you, your idea, I get an idea like here, like school management can bring up, or education system can bring up, you can say program for teachers where they have mental health care
Correct.
awareness as well as
Correct. Correct.
activities,
Yeah.
practical in the school
Yes.
only. Because
In the
sometimes,
school.
yeah,
Hmm.
like I suppose sometimes
Hmm.
teachers are not able to go home
Hmm.
and they do not know also.
Yes.
Like some
Hmm.
teachers are not even aware how to take care of themselves. So that some
Correct. Correct.
activities, the practical thing, like as you mentioned, free hours we can give to teachers to prepare their
Hmm.
assignments, to prepare their test
Hmm.
papers, so that they do not bring extra work to the home. It's very nice. Now, my next question, Anita ma'am, and wonderful answer you have given on this, which is very, very important.
Yes. Yes.
Next question is like financially, we know it is a very low paid work, right? And in this scenario, if you have experienced Indian culture as well as outside culture, right? You have lived outside, international abroad. So you have seen the changes because maybe your children also studied, different education system. Now I
Hmm.
want to know from you, like you have seen both teachers, Indian teachers as well as international teachers. So the two
Yes.
questions I want to ask. First is
Hmm.
how the financial perspective is the same
Hmm.
there in international and Indian, like financially, how you can see whether they are getting more paid or more facilities. And second thing I want to know, because I have
Hmm.
seen personally in Indian education system or in Indian schools, whatever, uh, teacher prepare a plan in curriculum and they demand student to follow that curriculum. Like 1, 2, 3 steps means student must follow 1, 2, 3 steps. Other than that,
Hmm.
student not able to
Hmm.
think creatively. Other than that,
Hmm.
student do not have like that mind to use that mind so that they can think about something new. So
Hmm.
according to
Hmm.
you, like what
Hmm.
changes you have seen? So I hope I cleared my question.
Yes. Regarding the salary, I think everywhere in the world, it is not a complaint, but everywhere in the world, even in India, I think the salary for teachers is quite low. I haven't worked much in India to speak about India, but I was told from some people I heard that the salary is quite low, even in India. Teachers get paid very low, and the kind of demand that the job has is like it takes most of the the time through the day. And here, in fact, they in fact pay in dirhams. Like it's like foreign this one, which is quite the same compared to this one, probably a little better than. Here you do get incentives when you have not been, for example, absent for a day or probably the full attendance. So you have some incentives if you do some work. But I really don't know much to comment about India. I do not wish to complain about this, but something can be definitely done to increase the pay of teachers. It is a very noble profession, I think, and we deserve to get more, much more than what we are getting at the moment. Yes. And your second question, and what was your second question? Can you just repeat that, please?
Yes, Nita
Hmm.
ma'am. So,
Hmm.
Nita ma'am,
Hmm.
like second question is, in education
Hmm.
system, you have seen the students, right? In India,
Hmm.
you have studied in India, right? So,
Hmm. Hmm.
here, if the curriculum is designed in such a way, but I felt that if a
Hmm.
student has to follow a chapter or student has to follow
Right.
something, follow
Hmm.
exactly the same way. The student cannot
Hmm.
change it, or the student cannot add into something of his or her own.
Yes.
Right? Same
Hmm.
thing you need to keep. Like basics means that in the thing. And that
Yeah.
scoring marks is everything. You must score first in the class.
Hmm.
International, can you have you seen the same thing? Because you have the seen right there. So have you seen the same thing? Like student have their opportunity to add on something new, to think creatively, to learn something.
Definitely, definitely.
That I
Yes,
want to know.
yes, yes. In fact, the kind of questions that we have in our assessment, whether it's a small assessment, a formative assessment, or a summative assessment, the examination, the final examination, we have a lot of challenging questions. Even the lesson plan should not be a very very simple one. It should be a challenging one. So the moment the teacher, another challenge which the teacher has is that once the lesson plan, she has completed the lesson plan, and if the class has proceeded to the next level, she should go on to the next level and give challenging questions. So I think children have a lot of opportunities to explore more, to read more, and they have to do that. They are expected to do that. And they come out with very beautiful saying, have I answered your question? Like the kind of lesson plan itself has a lot of challenging questions. You cannot have a simple lesson plan, and every lesson plan does not work well with every class. You have students with different abilities, and each child is different. A child may be very good in reading and writing, while other children may be very good in. Some of them may be good in writing. Some of them may be very good in. They may be very good in math. Okay, so you have children with different abilities based on your classroom. If some children are very very bright, some of the classes they're very very bright, students are very bright, they will always expect you to have challenging questions. So a lesson plan can never be simple, and every lesson plan which works well in one, an activity which works well in one class may not work well in the other class. So you have to design your lesson plan according to classroom also, the abilities of students. And you should have an additional kind of worksheets in order to this one. Some of the gifted learners and some of the bright students, they will complete activities and they will start disturbing the other students. So you cannot allow that. Okay, if you had to have inspections in the classroom, you should have some challenging worksheets so that you keep them busy. Maybe a puzzle or extra something, and let them come out with questions. Higher order thinking questions, which we call it. Okay, which goes to a very high level, and if they want to go beyond that, they want to come out with some other ideas, and you can decide whether you can give a concept, you can send it home, which is called the flipped classroom. If you think that a concept they would work better at home and then bring it, maybe present it as a PowerPoint, you can give the students an opportunity to, present it before the class. Some students will be very quiet, they will not speak. But if you give them a PowerPoint, they'll come out with beautiful, answers, and, they'll explain it to the classes. They will gain more confidence there. So those kind of innovative strategies, I think a teacher has to decide. And flipped classroom works very well. Even a
Wonderful.
primary grade class, grade 1 or 2, they come out with beautiful answers. And you'll be surprised to know as teachers, I've experienced that. And all students are very bright. Hmm. Yes. I
Wonderful.
hope I've answered your question. Yes.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Because indeed, it is very important that teachers must strategize. It is innovative, creative ideas everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
You can
challenging.
never have a simple lesson plan, Shweta. Very simple lesson plan you can never have. It should be a difficult one, and you should, you should have limited objectives. Probably one objective for a lesson plan. Okay, 1 or 2 maximum. During that 40 minutes period, they should have, the inspector. When you have inspections, you should see the progression of the class in learning.
So
Should be a change in the learning.
And so this is wonderful answer you have given. So from this, I got a question like which is very important in the sense. See, I have seen mental health counselors nowadays in schools because some people going approaching to schools to help students to improve their productivity, like left brain, right brain, how totally
Hmm.
how they can balance it, how they can
Hmm.
increase their productivity, like that.
Hmm.
Now,
Hmm.
according to you, students, there are counselors, even not in every school, but also there is. So, according to you, does mental health counselors or these kinds of counselors also necessary for teachers as well? And I am not aware, maybe you are aware about it. So, uh, are there counselors like this for teachers in schools nowadays?
Yes, I think there are counselors. I really don't know if you have counselors for teachers, but then counseling is definitely there for students. But if you think you should approach, since there is a lot of awareness and there's a need for us to know about the importance of mental health, and I think we should approach a counselor. We should not hesitate because we are also human beings. We can also have days when we feel very, very low and depressed with no proper sleep. We have to demand, meet the demands of the family when we have small children. And there is a need for us to approach a counselor. And I think it's perfectly okay to approach a counselor when you feel a little low. If you're comfortable to do it in the school, or probably you can go to a person outside if you can afford to pay the fees and meet a counselor. I think that'll be a good thing. And I was told, in fact, some of the schools they have some programs for having balancing and bringing about a good work life balance. For teachers. And recently, when I spoke to a teacher, she told me that they had some programs like work life balance. They did have programs for the employees there. Yes,
Like
definitely.
it's great, like they have some programs for work-life balance.
They do have some
Permanent
programs.
counseling must be there for teachers. Like, for
Mm,
example, in some schools, I have found like very big schools, not in all schools, but I think in all
mm.
schools it must be mandatory that
Yes.
mental health counseling must be there. Separate unit, a separate room must be there in every school.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
anyone, they must have a regular schedule, like a doctor checkup we have now, weekly checkup or monthly checkup.
Right.
That
Mm, mm,
monthly, weekly checkup we can have with a counselor or therapist, and counselor must pay it from the school education system, so that
mm,
not only students but also teachers
mm.
to facility, because
Mm.
outside they do not have time, they do not have money to spend, and
True. Very true.
they
Very
hesitate
correct.
too. Like there's a taboo
Yes.
outside,
Mm.
right? So
Yes. Yes.
we do not have to approach counselor. So
Correct.
what I felt
Mm.
like, if there is a system inside the schools, if there is a system inside
Correct.
the college or institutions, and
Yeah.
they are paid like a employee, by the school energy management, then maybe it
Right.
become a norm for everyone, for
Yeah.
school students, for
Yeah.
teachers. So what do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, you have a very good point. You brought out a very good point. Who have a counselor inside the school just for teachers. But then, Shweta, the other side of it is some teachers are not very, very comfortable doing that, discussing certain problems in the school. Maximum, they would go to a supervisor and say that my child is not well and I want leave. You can give me a day's leave, and then inform the immediate supervisor. But they would not be. I really don't know whether people are aware of the fact that they have to recognize mental health as an important part of their life. And they are able to recognize that they are feeling depressed or maybe anxious about something, and they would be very comfortable to go to a counselor, because the moment you walk to a counselor, and anything which happens in the school gets discussed by all the colleagues, saying that that teacher is having some problem. See, it is not, we are not going to get worried about what you will go and speak to the counselor. But the moment you go to a counselor, again, we have to work on the stigma which is there, which is related to mental health. Everyone should feel that it's perfectly okay to have a day when you feel very, very depressed and low and anxious, because we are also human beings. We are working 24 hours and more than that. But everyone should be aware of the fact that mental health is very important, and that stigma, the attitude of people should change definitely. If people are going to, when I walk to a counselor, if people are going to discuss that, see that teacher is going and meeting the counselor for some problem, and this person also gets very embarrassed. I don't know if it really works that way, because I know teachers sitting and discussing others' problems and all that with their little time. That is one thing which we can avoid. We can be a little more professional, because I was very, very professional in my workplace. I would never gossip or do anything, and I have seen, it's very unfortunate to have seen some teachers gossip about some personal things about people. I don't do that. I believe in being a little professional. We just need to create a good role model for parents, and when they see us, we just need to have that decorum in a school. And I don't believe discussing personal issues.
Yeah, and
Yes.
very, very important point you have picked here, that teachers must be professional. If they are working, I
Very
know, I totally agree, it is noble career, it is noble passion, but along with that is it is a duty, it is a responsibility, it's a profession, and we must be very
mm,
professional in our approach. And about counseling in schools, like we can keep confidentiality, like not even in counseling for students and teachers, but also
mm,
confidentiality between teachers. Confidential
between teachers.
confidentiality between management and teachers means if any
Correct.
teacher thing is there, any health issue, anything, do not discuss with other teachers. That is
Correct.
confidentiality act must be
Correct.
there for
Mm. And
any
that
everyone.
they should also have a positive attitude. The things would just get better. That makes a lot of difference, Shweta. I've seen that. I've realized this all after, leaving the school for 6 years and being at home. There's so many things that I could reflect. I didn't have so much of time earlier, because my girls were very, very small. I had to take care of them. I hardly had people here to help me out. But then so much of realization is there when I've just gone back and reflected on so many things which has happened. And I think self care is very, very important, no matter what. You have your family, you have all priorities, okay, you are taking care of them. But self care is very, very important. We have to take care of ourselves. Once we take care of ourselves, and I found that exercising helps a lot. 1 hour of exercising helps a lot.
Yes, and yes, we also provide like fitness. You are saying like I am very keen of fitness, and I also train, and we have fitness training sessions as well for everyone, ladies
Yes,
and all.
yes,
So,
yes,
like one more question I have is the last question I am asking about trainings,
yes,
because as you mentioned in between, like teachers must have a proper trainings and they must have to upskill themselves, learn new skills, whether any kind of
correct,
skill. So
right.
about the training part, if we can see. So according to you, what kind of trainings? Like for example, as you mentioned, professional training, where the professionalism we can develop, or teachers with, you can say, school develop, school curriculum related training, maybe technology
Yes,
related training, maybe student
correct.
interaction related training. So according to you,
Yes.
what kind of training? And also with extended to this question is like if student teacher is getting training, okay? Because I worked as a teacher, we have some
Mm,
system here. We have to train. We have to do some trainings, okay, online. Each Diksha and different apps are there.
mm, mm, mm.
Teacher are not taking it seriously. They are not taking it seriously, like they are taking it like push thing, like okay, school said us to do this thing, or school said this to, we have to do it. That's why
Mm,
I have to do it. Not like I
mm.
will learn something, not like it is I can contribute to this training, or not like I can teach or train, or we as a teacher circle, we all teachers have a
Right.
group. So teacher circle
Mm,
can discuss with others like how we can make it more better, right?
mm, mm,
So my
mm,
second
mm.
question here come
Yes.
like, does this training is effective nowadays, or what we can do to make it more effective? Yeah, over to you.
It's like first we have to take care of the mental health of the teachers. That should improve. They should have a regular routine. They should have some time for their own self, taking care of one self. That is more important. Then once the mental health gets better, proper sleep, proper routine, some kind of exercising or playing games, and some kind of yoga, breathing exercises, meditation. And I think if you do that, if you can just incorporate that into your regular schedule, I think you will definitely have a better mental health to take in all this one. Probably extra time for completing your work, and so that you don't have to go home and take all that work home, and then complete it, and meet some important deadlines. That kind of pressure should not be there. But I think there is a lot of demand from parents saying that teachers have to give enough revision, and there's a lot of work that the teacher has to take back home. Okay, that way I think this is very important. I think basically they are very, very tired. They have a lot of fatigue, were working in the school. And that is why the attitude towards professional development has to change. I used to attend a lot of workshops when I was in the school, and I got trained, different kinds of teaching strategies which you can use. See, if you teach a class, a particular concept, and something has not worked, you can have some kind of a peer observation. You can ask some other teacher to come and observe your class, and give ask them for a genuine feedback, and find out ways by which you can improve. Any kind of appraisal from the supervisor, you can ask the supervisor to walk in anytime and observe your class. Or maybe for the same concept, if you think that some other teacher can come and teach,
Hmm.
if she's free during that period, you can get the other teacher to come and teach a concept. It's called co-teaching. Okay, so those methods, I think it really works. And basically, I think you have to get rid of the tiredness which you are. Okay, so the enthusiasm is not there in many teachers when you've been working, and then the like for the salary, and that enthusiasm is not there. They feel very tired, and that is why I think the attitude towards workshop will also be they are not willing to learn. So I think it's basically that. But I used to always show a lot of interest in workshops. In fact, when I go to any professional development workshops, I've come back and shared all the workshops. I've done that. I've shared all those activities which they taught me. I attended a workshop on sign language when I was in the school. They sent me to do that, and then I went. And I used to be very enthusiastic. I used to have my own tiredness, Shweta, but I used to get rid of all that. I used to be very positive. I had my own problems, like my daughter. I had to take care of them. All those things were their personal things. Generally, we don't bring up personal issues into our professional work life. It's not a good idea to do that. But then I had my own struggles. But then somehow I used to have a lot of enthusiasm when I was in school. And I do that even now.
Wonderful. And
I
yes,
used to be
that
very
is the
positive.
thing. That is the thing, because school management must recognize that enthusiastic teachers to bring the up
Yes,
spirit in the teachers, for the learning.
correct.
Because I think, yeah, enthusiasm is kahin na kahin lose हो रहा है. because this is losing somehow in somewhere.
Correct.
And the teaching,
Correct.
which is noble profession, which can mold
Hmm.
student life. Because
Hmm.
after mother, there is a teacher, right?
Hmm.
Mother
Correct.
mold
Correct.
a child future, then teacher can mold a child in a very beautiful way. And sometimes
Hmm.
parents are dependent on teachers because parents have no knowledge.
Yes.
Mother do not have
Yes.
knowledge. Then teacher becomes
Hmm.
first mother for some students. So
Correct.
it is that
Hmm.
important profession, important
Correct.
than
Hmm.
engineer, doctor, and any profession who is well paid, any profession
Hmm.
where, because I have seen corporate's life as well. Because in the
Hmm.
corporate culture, what we do, there are trainings so that the team management skill, time management skill,
Hmm.
employees learn how to improve themselves, how to cooperate with themselves, each
Correct.
other,
Correct.
how to
Hmm.
collaborate,
Hmm.
how to contribute.
Correct.
So every training is
Hmm.
going to team so that they become more productive. Because if team become productive,
Hmm.
company can
Hmm.
earn more profit, you know, so
Correct.
company
Hmm.
can bring up. So what I felt
Hmm.
like management, or what I felt like school education system or anything, can think a lot
Hmm.
about it, like if they can put something like that, you know training,
Hmm. Hmm.
like
Hmm.
training for teachers, and make them sure that this is enthusiastic, this is fun, this
Hmm.
your your growth, your mental health, your physical health, your financial growth
Hmm.
will be
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
Some
Hmm.
incentives, as you mentioned, can also be added.
Correct. Hmm.
So yeah, I really
Hmm.
enjoyed like you have shared, and this main point that these teachers must be energetic, and it's your own
Hmm.
thing. As you mentioned, you are enthusiastic, and nowadays teachers are becoming lethargic due to their work curriculum, and that can be reduced. So thank you so much, Anita ma'am, for such a
Thank you
brilliant
so much.
session we had, and such a good communication we had on this topic, self-care on teach
Yes.
or
Sure.
teaching.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for this means I think you are the best because you have shared in depth knowledge with your personal experience as well. And I really love
Yes.
this talk.
Definitely.
And
Definitely.
thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. And let's bring up this spirit in the teachers, like in our circle, that
Sure.
everyone must uplift it. Like this career, this option,
Correct. Correct.
everyone choose
Hmm.
and be uplifted, and be enthusiastic choosing it. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching this podcast series. And we are looking forward for you. And this kind of podcast, we are looking in upcoming seasons as well. So, Anita
Yeah,
ma'am,
thank you so much for giving me an opportunity, Shweta. I really enjoyed it because I've been into teaching for the last 14 years. I really enjoyed it, and my whole attitude has changed. In fact, because my whole approach to children has changed. Because I also have a family, and I know how sensitive I had to be. Because my daughters, any problem, they would first come and tell me only, and that has really changed my attitude towards my daughters, and I really enjoyed being here and talking to all of you. And thank you so much, Shweta, for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much.